Welcome back. In this video, we are going to put everything together. So we have set up all of this room stuff. We have set up the adapter, and the adapter stuff is really just necessary because we have this more complex demo where we are also having multiple entries, right? We're not just storing one piece of information. And that's why we needed the recycler view, and we needed to have the items adapter where we not only want to have them in there, those entries, but we also want to be able to delete them directly from the user interface, which is, I believe, the best way to do it. So let's go ahead and implement that using our code. So now we can go to our main activity and finally use this item adapter that we have set up, which will also require, of course, the employee and, well, employee DAO as well while we're at it, because we added the record using the employee DAO. We're going to use it as well to delete and stuff. Okay, so first of all, let's create a function which will take care of displaying our employee list that we have in the database already. So I'm going to create this private func set up list of data into recycler view. Okay, and it needs to have the employee list that we want to display. So employees list, which is going to be an array list of employee entity. And then we need to get the employee DAO as well. So here, employee DAO with our employee DAO object, employee DAO. Okay. So now this function, what shall it do? Well, it should set up our recycler view. So it should set up the data. So first we are going to check if the employee list is empty. So is this list empty? And I'm going to say is not empty. So if it's not empty, I want to display the data into our recycler view. So here I will need to create an item adapter object, which is going to be our item adapter class that we just had created, right? So here we need to pass in the employees list, as well as the update listener and the delete listener. So how does this update listener work? We need to get an ID and we need to return a unit. So how does it work? Let's look at it. So here I will need to call the method that I want to call once I want to update something. So we need to prepare this method. Therefore, let me comment this line out and prepare the method that will take care of it. Actually, after having recorded the entire thing and showing you how to delete and edit and all of those things, I realized that it would have been way too much code before we actually see something. So I've decided to make a cut here and actually simplify our item adapter, because we are using this unit thing here, and you might have wondered, what is this unit? Well, it's basically just saying that we need a method here which will return nothing. So unit is just a void keyword from Java, and we will get the ID of the thing that we need to update. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to comment those two things out here, because the only thing that I will for now need for the item adapter to work will be the array list of employees. Accordingly, I will need to uncomment or comment these two out here. So once I click on the edit button, nothing will happen. And once I click on the delete button, nothing will happen either. Because we're here invoking our delete listener. We're just basically calling the method. We're passing the ID. We're calling the method that we will create, which will be like it will be a lambda method, or you could say a nameless function that we use in our main activity. But we're not going to do that for now, okay? We're going to skip all of that for now. We're going to focus on just displaying the data that we have in our database. So let's set up the item adapter, which we do have now. And now we need to make sure that we are displaying the information accordingly, which means we need to display our recycler view. We need to assign the adapter, this item adapter that we just created, and so forth. So let's first of all set up the recycler view layout manager. So I'm going to say I'm using a linear layout manager, which you can see here. So items are going to be on top of each other. We're not using a grid layout or anything like that. Then I'm assigning this item adapter that I just created as the adapter for my recycler view, which is this recycler view here, as you see inside of our application's activity main XML. And then I'm going to make sure that the recycler view will be made visible and the text view that says no records are available will not be visible. So it will be gone. Okay, so here TV no records available, which is this text view. And by the way, in the code, I made sure that this text view is by default set to visible, and this recycler view by default is set to gone. Okay, I made a little change here in the XML file. And now, in the case that the employee list is not empty, this code will be executed, right? But if it is empty, then what I want to do is I want to make sure that the opposite happens. So that I do display the text view that says that there is nothing happening. So there's no records available, and the recycler view should be gone. So should not take any space in my user interface. So at this point, we can call this setup list of data into recycler view method inside of our onCreate method, which I will do in here. Okay. So here onCreate, let's go ahead and set that up. So this will have to run in the background because we're loading data, right? So let's launch a coroutine here, which will use our employee DAO to fetch all employees, and it will collect the entry. So it will basically, with this collect method, we now get the list of employee entity items that are inside of our database, because this fetch all employee is this DAO method that we created, which selects all, so star, from our employee table. So it's going to give us all the entries that we have in our employee table. It's going to fetch them, and it's going to return a flow, which is a part of the coroutine class. Just like the suspend keyword, it runs the operation on a different thread, but with an additional feature of emitting updates automatically when they occur. So this is important. What this allows us to do is we don't have to tell the recycler view to update itself. It will do that automatically because we're using flow here. Okay, so now we're fetching all employees, we're collecting them, we get them in form of a list. So you can see here list employee entity. So what's the problem here? If we're working with a list and we want to pass this to this method here, set up list of data into recycler view. Well, we don't need a list. Well, even though we called it employees list, we need an array list. So we need an array list of employee entity items, and we get a list of employee entity items. So how do we fix that? Well, we quickly make an array list out of this list. So let's go ahead and do that. Therefore, what we need to do is we just need to say val list, which will be an array list of it, and we just pass it to it. So we create an array list out of this list of employee entity. So it's this it keyword. Okay, and now we can use that in order to display or pass this to the setup list data into recycler view. Okay, so we just pass the list to this method that we just had set up, and we need to pass the employee DAO as well. So here employee DAO, like so. And now at this point, if we run the application, we should get all the entries that we have in our recycler view. So we see we get them. Now let me test this with another entry. So here, Dennis, and you see it's different data than we had before because, as I said, I had to cut the video and stuff. But you see I added the data and it automatically updated the UI. So let me add another one, Sissy. And here it's, she has a unique email ID, which is not even an email ID, but you see all of the data is now appearing. So we just add the data and it automatically updates our recycler view. And it's almost like magic, but unfortunately the magic requires a bunch of setup, which we did do over the last couple of videos. So I'd say let's make a break here because the video is going to be, well, the next video is going to be long enough because we need to take care of those two methods. Let me show you the update record dialog and the delete record dialog, and they are extensive because we are creating dialogues and we are also using an alert dialog here and so forth. So let's make a break here and see you back in the next video.